Good evening, citizens. I hope you can hear me well. Please let me know if you can't, and please let me know if my music is too loud. And welcome to episode 11 of Building an Ironclad. I haven't even checked if the latest version is live now. That might be why there's not much going on today. Either way, I really wanted to give an update on, well, my Ironclad, because I kinda promised you something for CitizenCon. And without getting ahead of myself, there's good news and there's bad news. Alright? I definitely have a lot to show. So, well, sit down and let's get into it. So, this is the Ironclad. This is what I have built so far. In case you didn't notice, this is exactly where we left off 2 weeks ago, so nothing really happened. I mean, there's still a few weeks left, but unfortunately I'm leaving for vacation in 1.5 weeks, a little less. So, will I finish this Ironclad for CitizenCon? Not likely. But I always said that it's unlikely that I finish the whole thing, but that I finish something, and I'm still confident that I finish, that I will give you something, and that it will be pretty good. And that is, even though this is the current state of my Ironclad. So, how can I be that confident? And even if I don't get that video out, it will be still a plus for you, I think. So, let's jump into another scene. I have already shown you last week that I started building my own little asset collection to build this, and use a lot of instances to make all of this more efficient for now and for the future. And as you can see, this has grown a bit, and it doesn't look like much, but well, let's see. So last week we together worked on this catwalk piece, and that is finished now. Great. So far so good. Let me change the shader for a second. This is a bit annoying. Actually, let's go to textured. Underneath the catwalk, there's a cable string. As you can see, different parts. As with the ladders before, everything is now built out of separate pieces. And I was not happy with the old ladder that I built for the Anvil Paladin. I wanted this all to have the real Drake aesthetic, so I built all of these pieces that I had, but now in the Drake styling. So we have different ladder pieces. We have the hand railing for the catwalk. And we have a lot of more pieces. Steel beams, floor pieces, wall panels, a door, even though I had a door, the one that you've seen in the Ironclad. I just took that from a holoviewer model, and as you know, I can't share those with I can put them in my videos, but I can't put them in the 3D scenes. And since that is the ultimate goal, I have to build everything myself now. So this is basically a placeholder door, but it has the right measurements and everything, and I can improve that later. But, oh yeah, and then you have the classic caterpillar dining room bench. But this is all cool details and stuff, but this is not a ship. So what I've done is basically what you've seen before. This is my Drake ladder system, and it's the same as the Anvil one. It just has ladder pieces that you can add and remove, and it has different options for the top. So that's cool, and that will save me some time. Then I went on to build the catwalk, and that's a bit more complex. As you can see, that's a whole catwalk. And with these few options here, I can change the length of it. I can change if it should have handrails on one side, other side, both sides. If I want a ladder at all, if I want a ladder on one side. And then obviously for the ladder, the position and the length. So that will help me build the catwalk in like minutes, and not only the one that we've seen, but I can basically build any catwalk I want. And that is already a bit more complex than what I have made before, as you can see. When we started, when I did the doors and stuff, I had basically no idea how to use these geometry nodes, but with this catwalk, that was the first one where I felt like a bit confident and actually knew what I was doing. So now I have cleanly separate selections for the main catwalk, for the handrail, for the ladder, and I can change all that in the future for different manufacturers, for example. That's basically what you've seen so far. So let me just catch up with chat and then we'll move on, because there's more. As long as you are finished before the ship is released, I don't think it will be coming this year. I think I'm good. But we don't know, it could still be coming for Christmas as a big surprise. Ironclad is love. Ironclad certainly is my life in the last few weeks. Grim is here. Hey Grim. We need to get you the Drake kit assets. You got so much custom modeling going on. I am impressed. Yeah. I don't know what if there is a Drake kit. The important part here is that I build every single piece myself, and just for two reasons: to get ahead of myself, for the 3D scenes that I'm sharing with you every now and then for my Patreons, so you can walk around in my ships. But currently I'm also thinking about building some kind of, like, not building, sharing these pieces with people so they can build their own interiors. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about that in a second. Covered this before, but how much do you think the Ironclad interior has changed throughout White Box? As we talk about that later, okay? Because I don't know yet. Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Okay, Grim, this is what I was talking to you about a few days ago. So this catwalk piece, okay, that's cool, but this is not enough. What I was going to show you is in this cube, and we'll get there in a second. So after that, I needed something more complex than, I mean, a catwalk. It's just, ultimately, it's just an array that puts these pieces on next to each other. I could have done that with a modifier. It's nothing crazy. Where it gets a bit more complicated, and I looked a lot at the caterpillar, is these steel beams that you have on the sides of the corridors, because there's not one or two, there's 10 different variations depending on where in the ship you are, how high the room is, and so I started building one, and while building the second I thought this is not the way, this is too complex, I need something more procedural, so I built a Drake steel beam builder. So this is again one geometry node object, which a handful of different options. One is you can change the height. Depending on the height, it will insert new pieces, obviously seamless, and you can see that even the textures grow with it. And then you can have different pieces, like wider pieces, no footing at all. And on the top, well, the same, and then also one of these big ones. This is the one that I used in the Kraken interior, so might come in useful there again sometime. Or also, yeah, no special top. And this is already pretty advanced. This inserting these pieces and scaling them properly and getting the UVs not broken and all that stuff. That kinda brought me a bit to my limit. As you can see, it's a bit more complex. But that still would not make me think that I could finish the Ironclad anytime soon, because, I mean, now I can place different sized steel beams, that's cool. But from that, I build this cube, and this cube, you can change its size, and that's pretty much it. But if I put my geometry node setup on, we have a Drake corridor. And as you can see, if I change the size, it scales with it, it inserts new pieces with it. Obviously it has a ceiling, and obviously it has obviously it has two sides. This is just for visibility. But there's more. If you want just... There's these narrow corridors, but then there's also bigger ones where the spacing is bigger. So we can have these bigger ones too. Here, obviously, these textures are placeholders, but the cool part about this already is that if I change the width of my corridor, you can see that these textures don't stretch or anything, it all scales properly. Actually, let's get the second wall in. Here you go. Then what you also might want, or not, depending on the situation, is obviously it still has all the options that I just shown you for the steel beams. You can still apply all of that to this. And then you have doors. And notice whenever I add a door to it that the whole thing scales with it properly. Nothing completely breaks. And then lastly, let's have a look inside. There's your room. There's your Drake corridor. If I render this, I have not tweaked any of these settings or anything. It's just how it looks right now. And this rendering takes about less than a minute. And let's check how much that is. So we have a light source on every second of these pieces, so let's make it so it has 5 light sources. One, two, 3 light sources. And then with 2 sides it has 10 light sources. And I don't know how many thousand polygons, I don't care at this point. So 10 light sources, this renders in 0.7 seconds. Now let's get this whole thing 10 times, actually let's make it 100 times as long. So these are 1,000 light sources, and I don't know how many polygons. It's a lot of polygons. Oh, you can't see the render window, but it renders in 0.98 seconds now. Actually, I need to show you this window somehow. So this whole thing renders in less than a second, which is crazy. Me. Know that. There you go. That's the rendering. Less than a second. So it's not crazy or anything, it's just because this is all properly instanced, it renders pretty quick, and my computer has obviously no trouble working with it. Obviously this will change when I build the whole Ironclad, but it's just an incredible improvement from what I did on the Galaxy, where every single mesh was just bad and took a lot of resources. This is very scalable, and you can pretty much build anything with it. So yeah, and that obviously makes me kind of comfortable now that we can build not only the Ironclad in time, but also maybe some other big Drake ships. And I also have to say that this whole setup, I've been working on that for maybe 2 days now. So obviously it's not perfect. Obviously there's a lot of detail missing, but if I spend another week or 2 on this, I'm sure it can do pretty much anything I want. What I need right now before I can finish the video is some detailing in these panels. Basically this is set up like the Caterpillar or other Drake ships. You have these empty panels, and then on top of that you have these decorational panels. I have built just one of them so far, but there's like, I don't know how many different ones, and these are mostly decorational. Some might also have component, I don't know, I have not really checked what they are all used for, but basically I have to build like 5-10 of these and then place them randomly. And then also I need to upgrade this to have more doorways, and then I need to update it so that if I raise one of the sides here, that it adds steps instead of the floor. And then I can make basically every corridor and room and staircase with it, and that gives me about half of what makes one of these ships. So obviously there are a lot of bespoke rooms, like the hangar, like the engineering room, but they all follow a similar base layout that I can then build with that in some cases literally in minutes. And I think that's pretty cool. And to quote someone, this makes the Kraken easier. This makes the Kraken realistic, I think. Because ultimately, it's just a long corridor, really. And then, yeah, the other cool piece is that this is all pretty much untextured right now. There's just some intelligent shaders on here. But the way I've built this now, I can just update one of these, make this a bit prettier, and then every single piece in my whole Ironclad will update accordingly, and I can improve this much more efficient than I have in the Galaxy in the past. Right, that's it. That's what I've done so far. Let me catch up with chat again, because I can't multitask. Voice Shadow 2. I'm curious, why do you create these ships? Either way, though, you give me hope for this game. Why? Well, I think mostly because I generally like that. That has always kind of been one of my hobbies. Then I noticed that people in this community, just like me, like concept ships and like to think about stuff that is not there yet. And so I like to give a sneak peek of how that will look in the future, and sometimes bring in my own ideas or show ideas that other people have, and just basically it's just like all of you, I just want to see the ships now instead of when they are there. I just like spaceships, and I'm much more of a creator than I am of a gamer. And that's not true. I still consider myself very much of a gamer, but instead of grinding for 100 hours in game, I would much rather play like 5 hours and then create my own stuff for it. Even though this will not end up in game, it's just I still spend time with that universe that I like very much. I can see your... Yep. I really enjoy your procedural stackability. Oh, I think that's going to be my next project. Use the sci-fi 3D blocks I have and build the interior of the Ironclad. Well, let me know if you're faster than me. How many of you are planning to use your Ironclad for base building? I'm hoping for the drones to get access to cargo directly to the roof. I mean, that has not been announced, but I'm pretty certain that this is one of the perfect options. And this is another reason why I built all this. Obviously now I can not only build the Ironclad, there's also 1 or 2 Ironclad variations that I have always wanted. In fact, I was a bit disappointed with the Ironclad when it was announced. I expected something else. And so once I finish this, I can then make modifications pretty easily and quickly and build variations that I think are cool, and I don't know, maybe some even catch on and get some people to think about building them for real. Star Citizen also doesn't care about the polys too much. That's true. Well, actually, Star Citizen has quite high poly counts, but they are not as high as I expected. Everything I built here is... I mean, I can open the model of the caterpillar in a second. It is quite high poly, but it's by far not as wasteful as you would think. Most of the detail in Star Citizen comes from their crazy ass POM technique. It's parallax occlusion mapping. It's a technique where you bake displacement, basically. It's quite efficient. Not as efficient as... well, there's nothing to compare to, really. Basically, if you know what displacement is, or tessellation, that was used in games a while, but it's very intense for your hardware. It's still used in film because it looks amazing, but basically this parallax occlusion mapping is a technique that does the same thing, but for half the hardware cost. The number is completely made up, but it's cheaper hardware-wise, but at the end of the day, it's still just texture changes and no geometry changes. So the poly count is still rather... it's high, but it's not crazy high. So no 3D model really not good. Oh, I also thought about building the Ironclad as a model, as a physical model, and paint it and stuff. I'm not sure if I want to do the interior though. It's a bit too... even for 3D printing, I think this is all too fine, and the scale would be too small. So I prefer to build and paint models in a reasonable scale, like 1:24 or something, but I don't know what this would be, 1:200 or something. This is too small for me to detail to... you can't film that and make it look like a miniature really good. Oh, and for comparison, I have not really shown this. This is the setup for the room right now. It looks a bit messy because I have not really figured out how to make these curved nodes clean. My main software, actually, where I usually work with, is Nuke. This is also node-based. I'm a very clean node builder, but I'm used to nodes that are in 90-degree angles and that you can actually cleanly build. But this curvy stuff, it's all terrible looking. I know that you can in the settings make them less curved, but it's still... they are still going all the way. It's... I don't know, it's a dirty node system, I think. I don't like the look of the node system that much. But it is still more organized than it looks right now. It's basically one system for the floor and for the walls and for the steel beams and for the lights and the doors, and then just these few settings in the beginning that basically control everything. Actually, I would love to hide some of these because it's just getting confusing right now, but yeah, I need to figure out a way to make this more clean because this is still not finished. I still need to, as I said, have the option to make these stairs instead of just a tunnel, and then add all the details. But yeah, I'm feeling much more confident with that whole geometry node system right now. It's like the back of my server rack, yeah. I think that technically it's the same. Actually, that's all I really wanted to say, so now I have to continue to do stuff. So what we could do right now, we could add these details just to do something that I can actually use. So first of all, it should be 1. And then it should be I have all of the origins of these placed in relation to the objects they are supposed to connect to. So I'll place this at the same origin as the wall, so I don't have to change. It's a bit more complicated. If I want to place this by hand, it would be more useful to have the origin right here. But for this, it's a lot easier to just place it here at the corner of the whole thing, so it can seamlessly connect to the next one. We can actually take this out. I usually have reroute nodes everywhere and snapping enabled in the node editor. I have just found out about reroute nodes. I used it here. I used it once. I know there's a lot more places where that would be helpful, but I just found out because honestly, again, usability is pretty terrible. In Nuke, you would just control click somewhere and then you have this dot that you can move around, but here you have to, let me know if there's a better way, but as far as I know you have to shift and then with the right mouse button cut this noodle, and then you have the button, the reroute, but you can't even grab this and drag it, which makes me crazy. Then it just tries to rewire, so you have to select this and then move this with G. That's just terrible. Terrible. Other softwares have made that with just half the clicks, and yeah, I don't like it. But yeah, I know about these now. And I will upgrade that here and there. Here's one connection that I made straight to make it more organized. And snapping, yeah, that's a good idea too. What did I want to... Oh, I wanted to add the wall panels. So, where's my wall panels? These are my wall panels. This is the panel itself. These are the pieces that stretch it. And this is the part that places each instance. So basically right before that, I want to add the additional piece. Detail. So now we have 1 million of these detail panels there. That's pretty cool. Is that the right instance? Wall panel detail 1. Wall panel detail 1. Okay, this is the right one. Just this isn't. Okay. So this is obviously not part of the points of the instance that I want to place there. So now all of these have this one detail panel that I've built, but now it's the same on every single one. And for that I would like to have like 5 or 10 different ones randomly placed at some point. But this already helps to make it a lot more detailed, I think. I can't believe this is real time. It's when I started, I had to render for this for like half an hour or something. This is crazy. Right, so next I have to add the option to have additional doors here to make not only corridors but actually what is it called? Crossing rooms, but well, rooms that are going into different. I can't say that in English. I'm sorry. Rooms where you have 2 or 3 entrances and then get around the ship and make not just corridors, because this can only make one long corridor right now. And once that is done, I can duplicate the whole thing and build something to have. Actually, I might not duplicate it. I will make it automatically check whenever you change the height of the side, and then it's supposed to not only change these but make all of it angled and add door steps here. But ultimately the idea is to not build like the full ship in one piece, but have like one of these cubes for like this length, and then I add a second one that has the stairs, and then the next one that has another corridor which might be a bit thinner or something. But then I might still need like 20, 30 of these to build the Ironclad, but that's fine. I already thought about building the whole thing out of one of these objects, but that's not useful. I think this is modular enough. Okay. Ooh, Blender interface. Hopefully the new touchscreen version for tablets improvements make its way to desktop release as well. Is a touchscreen version of Blender? I'm too old for that. No. I'm never using anything else than a mouse. Even all my colleagues use graphic tablets for everything. I can't, I just don't like it. I like a mouse and a keyboard and that's it. And I don't like touchscreens. Not in my cars, not in my ships. Is this how you're going to construct the large hangar bay? The large hangar bay is one of those special instances that is very bespoke. So that has not just one wall, but there's a different... Basically, they are very much angled for like 3 meters at the bottom, and then it gets straight like here, and then in the top it gets a little more angled to the other side. So this is basically just for corridors and small rooms, and then I'm going to make a copy of this and make it just for the Ironclad hangar, and that will then use a few bespoke elements. And then I will ultimately have to combine a few of these for the different levels of the room, because again they changed so much, and then I will also need the catwalk. But ultimately, yeah, this is mainly for corridors, but I can then change a few, and it's just a few little changes to make this work with a big hangar like that. As you can see, this is for corridors, so it's not meant to be that wide, but ultimately it works. And ultimately... built kind of. Kind of an Ironclad hangar there. I mean, it's not fully working, as you can see, because that is a special room, but I mean, I think that's still quite a good speed to build this. They announced the tablet version with new interface. Oh man, I'm going to look at that, but I just don't believe in that. I just don't believe in using this kind of software on a tablet, not even Photoshop. I just like to sit down on a proper desktop and proper desk and proper mouse. Even though I built some of these pieces on the go on the train with a small laptop and even there with a proper mouse and keyboard. I just don't see myself using touch. I hope it's cool and stuff, but I just think that's a gimmick and not a proper tool. But I mean, I know that it's a really boomer thing to say, even though I'm not that old. But maybe I should at least have a look at it. I got a space mouse that's been used like once. Oh, you mean a 3D mouse? Like one of these joystick thingies. I had one of those too. I had a friend who was in 3D and he started out and immediately bought one of these because he was so into 3D, and then like half a year later he was not into it anymore and gave it to me, and I tried to use it for a few times, but it's just a gimmick. I don't think it's really useful. But yes, there are 3D mice that you can use in all axes. It's crazy. But you would use this for the catwalks. Yeah, basically for the catwalks I have a separate thing because they are a bit special, but it's a combination of all of these. I think we will see the Ironclad this year or by next Invictus. If I have to guess right now, I would also say Invictus, but I think we will get an update at CitizenCon. I actually hope not, because that's where I come in, basically. I want to have a quick preview for CitizenCon if I can make it. And then a full tour for IAE later this year. And I hope that they don't show too much, because otherwise my video would be pointless, but I'm sure, nah, they won't show as much as, or they won't show it as detailed, or as, they won't take the time that I do with these Galaxy style tour videos. For sculpt, okay, tablet version for sculpting is not too bad of an idea. I don't really sculpt, but I see the point for that. That actually is pretty, yeah, okay, that's a good idea. Catwalks are bad. Too much caterpillar experience. I like them. I know that they're a bit annoying, especially in the caterpillar, but I think they look amazing and add a lot to the design of the room, and especially in the Ironclad. I think the catwalks in the Ironclad, the idea of defending the room from up there is pretty cool. So, yeah. Won't get the Ironclad this year. I agree, I don't think we will get it. Do we have a fully modeled Paladin? I do. Well, it's missing a few little details, but I have two or three videos where I showed the full interior of the Paladin. I mean, I can open it right now, but I'll give you a quick sneak peek. So I have the full interior of a Paladin. But I would recommend you go watch that video, because I already made quite an effort of rendering all of that very nicely and going through the whole thing, every single room. All I could show you here. I think the first one is just called Exploring the Paladin or something. It's from around last Christmas or something like that, IE. And then I made a second small additional video a month later with some FAQs where I showed some more interior stuff, and then I made one last week where I showed the escape pod gameplay. But yeah, this shows you how much my modeling has changed since then, because here I basically placed everything. There was some array modifiers here and there, but ultimately everything except for these two rooms that are mirrored, everything is just placed by hand and modeled by hand. This is all just one piece. And especially the floors, it's just one massive piece where I built and modeled every single detail for every single room. And that's not super efficient. I mean, yeah, this is one thing that I aerate a bit, but nothing complex like on the Ironclad. And this took about the same time as I think I will spend on half of the Ironclad. Are the Paladin bedrooms still weirdly mirrored after CRG have shown the escape pod locations, or did they change the interior? They have not talked about that. They have only shown the exterior, where the escape pod is on the exterior. Again, I made a video on that if you haven't seen it. And they have also only shown the exterior of the left side of the ship. So the one where the bedroom was always angled the correct way. So there is still the possibility that they make the escape pods offset on the other side of the ship. They haven't shown that. And they have not talked about it. So everything they have shown is basically still in line with what they've shown last year. But it could also be already fixed or adjusted. They didn't spoil that information, unfortunately. Oh, you know, yeah, let me just link the Paladin videos real quick. Am I allowed to post links in my own chat? We'll find out. So, this is the Paladin tour. Looks like that's working, right? So that's the Paladin tour. That should answer 95% of your questions. If you still have some more, here's some FAQ with where I try to get some ships or objects or crates or something like that inside the Paladin, and then recently I did the escape pod stuff. Oh, okay, so we don't know. I'm partial to a bit of asymmetry in the design, but those bedrooms look like a giant waste of potential space inside. Yeah, I love asymmetry too, and interestingly in this case, their design is not like if you look at it from the top, it is asymmetrical the way they designed it, but the rooms themselves, because they are mirrored on two axes, are exactly the same. They are exactly the same layout, and that's why I think it's a bad idea. So, yeah, as I also kinda hinted at earlier, last week one of you, I don't know who it was, asked me if I can share these assets that I built with my Patreons as like a Patreon tier or something. And I had not thought about that before, but said it's actually not a bad idea, why not? Now that I have built them myself, I would be allowed to share them. It makes it a bit more complicated, but because now I have to check that every single texture and material that I use is made by me. So I did basically all the little details and stuff that I used before. I now try to do everything myself or use it from sources that I can share, because a lot of the textures that I used are licensed, so I even paid for a lot of them, and I can use them, but I'm not allowed to share them, so that makes it a bit more complex. But I can change all the models and share all the models, and this actually, I mean, not everyone is going to be able to build his own ship with this. This is not realistic. There's still a lot of deep Blender learning that you would have to do before you could properly use this tool, but I still think that a lot of people would make some incredible things with these tool sets, like designing their own ships, and so I mean, it will be tricky to get this into a state where I can share it and people can actually use it, but it is definitely something that I'm now looking forward to, because I think it could be a great tool in the hands of the community. When you showed the Kraken on Arcop, did you do that in Star Engine? No. So Star Engine is completely closed. No one can use that. Obviously it's built on CryEngine, and the CryEngine itself is pretty much free to use, like for your own private stuff. But Star Engine, they have never given that out to the community, so we can't use that. No one can. And that will not change. There will not be mod support for Star Citizen. I don't think they will ever sell Star Engine. I think that's just their proprietary tool that they will keep under lock and seal. And so what I showed there was also in Blender like this. That was obviously pre-rendered and not real-time. But I built all of that in Blender. Like this and like all of my videos. 99% of my videos. Sometimes I do capture some game scenes and modify the videos, but like the intro, for example. Oh wait, are you talking about the intro of this whole intro where the Kraken actually flies over Arccorp and flies to the convention center? Because that was actually game footage that I captured and then just tracked the scene and built the Kraken in Blender afterwards. So that's composited on top. It's not in-game or anything. It's just built on top of that video from the game. That makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's two different things. So the beginning, the intro of the ship landing, that's basically video edit, no, not video edit, video, it's visual effects on top of video footage captured from the game. And then the part where we walk around and talk, that is completely built in Blender and rendered in Blender. And so it's also not real time. It's basically Grim and I kinda walked around that in real time while we recorded that. But basically we were walking around in like a view like this. So we had to imagine a lot of the details, and then I would render it properly and beautifully later. Blender is pretty fast. As you can see, I can still walk around here in real time, but the Kraken model is quite taxing. Now, as you may have noticed, I am not the best at multitasking, and I want to get some things done at least, and so I'm going to continue the door and get some more details in that. Now, I definitely want this to look like the caterpillar door, so I'm going to build it very similarly. I don't want to... Maybe I should have added my own style here and there, but I just want this to look as close as possible to the existing Drake ships. Because I think that's what most people want to see as well. Just taking from reference is also easier. Don't have to spend time on... sorry. Just taking from reference is also easier. I don't have to spend time on consumpting. More Mitchell says. That's true. Even though I still would like to build my own stuff at some point. I mean, I still do. I have my own series of building my own ship, and ultimately I would like to build my own manufacturer at one point. So just recreating is also not making me completely happy, but right now with this I want to be as faithful as possible to the original, because I just like the Ironclad so much. Thanks for giving us a look at the Ironclad before release. You're super welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm still surprised how many people like to just watch this. Because my initial thought was that building the game takes already too much time. Why should anyone be interested in seeing someone spending more time building the same ships? But apparently being even more transparent is interesting to some of you, so I'm super happy about that. And I really like these doors. They are super amazing, these caterpillar doors, because they have this amazing window in there, and that's what I'm going to build now. Yes. then we basically need the same tape again for the handle, even though that is a bit wide, oops, a bit wider, not as high. Okay, so what height should a door handle be at? I would say... Better than that? So for me, a door handle should be at a height of 1 meter and 48 is what I just measured. And this one right now is 155. No, it's not too bad. Actually, let's make it perfectly my height. Good. So, and this one is... This one's actually not inserted into the surface, so I have to do the opposite. So these are already correct. And then these are... If you don't like triangles, look away. This is still cleaner than the game meshes, I promise. And it's all clean, at least on the surface. So... really, I want this different. Insert it. Then set it again. And then there's some kind of door handle on this. Beautiful. And here, this is also not finished. So yeah. Let's redo that. It's only about this thick, and then build. This is where the glass comes in, so I'm going to hit that. This one goes. Yeah. Oh, and then the glass, it's also quite interesting. It has quite harsh angles. Any reason why you are not using add-ons to help speed up some work in Blender? Well, because I often like to just brute force things the way I know, instead of looking for quick add-ons. That's part of the answer, and the other part is I usually like to use my software as vanilla as possible, so I'm not too dependent on anything that I have not built myself. But I know that is not the best answer, so if you have any good add-ons that you think would help me in particular, then feel free to let me know. Maybe I might use one or two, but so far I never felt like I needed it. And also, this very super manual modeling is just relaxing to me and almost meditative, so I never really wanted to speed it up. Even though, I mean, it would make sense. If you have a good idea, if you have a good plugin in mind, then please let me know and maybe I'll use it. But yeah, as I said, I like to just build stuff myself so I understand it fully. For example, I made this here. is especially helpful for building the spaceship stuff. And also because I need this to work both for my videos and then for the game scenes as well. So I made this little sheet of bolts and screws and stuff for decals, but that's not the special part. That is still very vanilla. And so this one in the center I'm going to assign to a vertex group. And I'm also going to place a few. What did I do? So there's my screws, and these are obviously just textures placed on top. And that should be fine for the game scenes. But on video I would just like it to be better. So first of all I'm going to combine them with this one. And then make sure this is still correct. No, it did not transfer properly. So, and then I have another geometry node set up. And that one one is just called bolts. And it places 3D versions of the same. Oh, it's actually not the same ones. Right now I only have these bolts in there, but oh, I already have the updated one here that should be then placed everywhere. And then I have the 3D version for my videos, which look a lot nicer. And it's proper shadows if that's important. Then I've fully kitted out shortcuts for most major operations, multiple radial menus, etc., and several add-ons that... Yeah, right. Transition between modes, applications, or modifiers. For example, here your decals are done in essentially only 2 clicks. Yeah. I mean, again, if you have something... I've seen these decal placement plugins. Please feel free to show me one or two if you have some cool ones. Because I should really speed up my workflow. Yeah, I should just really speed up my workflow. Decal machine. We look into that then. It's, I think, what's also part of the answer, I have to admit now, in my personal software of choice, in my software where I professionally work, and that's Nuke, I have plugins for everything, and not really plugins that much. There's not that much of a plugin market as there is on Blender. But I have built my own tool sets for everything, and I have scripts for everything, and I just made that mine. But that's what I work with, and Blender for me still is mostly a hobby. So I never feel the urge to, even though that is stupid, even though I know I should just automate some things. I mean, I already am now, but I'll do more of that. Oh, I'm getting so tired. In general, most of the machine tools by that guy are very good for hard surface running in Blender. I think I've seen some of that. I'll have a look at that later. But I really just enjoy this. Almost done. Minus some texture work. Then I might call it a day. Oh no, I'm not finished. I still need the stupid door handle. I'm not sure if I can do that today. No, at least partially. This door is getting mighty detailed. Oh yeah, that's true. But it's still not as detailed as the original Caterpillar door, so... in case the Ironclad is getting an upgrade, then... Well, I need to go further, still. Yeah, but I like my details. And I'm honestly getting a bit lost. That's a big problem of why my videos take so long. Procedural, any chance you would take a look at my ship? No recreation, but an attempt at an original anvil ship. Always, pretty much. I won't do it on stream until you build something inappropriate, but feel free to send it to me on Discord, and I usually generally like to look at other people's ships too. Same username as on YouTube. Oh, this is still missing the keypad, and then some textures and images and warning labels and decals. Not going to do that today, because it's boring and I'm getting tired. And also it's not important for the Ironclad video. This door will be good enough, and then I can add details later. I should focus on the stuff that is still missing. And this mirror I don't need anymore. So now this door is pretty much done. And it should update in real time in my corridor. That's the neat part about it. So let's have a look at it rendered and beautiful. Let's make this corridor a bit longer. Wait. That is missing a ton of detail. It's missing all the small detail that I added. Why is that? Why is it missing that detail? Is this really one object? Is it all? It's mostly correct when it comes to normals. They are separate meshes, but they are still one object. I was under the impression that an object instance node... Oh, no, wait, did I rename this? I changed the name. So where's the original drag door? Where's the original drag? This is weird. This is the only door in that scene, and still I can't rename it to door. And that is an object. So this object instance node should pick up the whole thing. Break door. Frame. Break door. Break door 1. Ah, okay. Okay. It still had the old one in here. And that's why I couldn't change it. But before I re-instance it, I need to fix my origin. That's actually tricky. What is it? Momagil, you know a lot of stuff apparently. Can I set the origin of an object other than by origin to cursor or to geometry or something? Can I just can I just add the numbers of the origin somewhere as I would the location? Either way, now I should be able to name this. I'm not. Maybe I have to name this properly. This goes into the break. parts. Then in here I can select door again, drag door, and there we go, there's our pretty door. Yeah, that's a bit annoying that I only can snap it to somewhere, because in this instance right here I wanted to have it on the floor here, so I can't select something in the model to get the cursor to the right position. I would have to... My workaround is to put another object like an axis where I want it to be, set the cursor there, and then set this object's origin to that cursor. That's a bit of a workaround. I would just prefer to have the origin next to the location. Yeah, but this door was worth the effort, wasn't it? That looks very Drakish. Very submarine-y. And I like it a lot because it's mine. I built it. Even though I built it after the original designs. But yeah. Oh, I can still bevel some edges here and there. And then I absolutely have to fix this here. That's completely... That's not okay. This is not okay. There we go. Better. I like this quite. Thank you. Thank you, Raja. A bit rounded, but still very Drake. Yeah, but I can't really take credit because this is pretty much the door of the caterpillar that I have built here. I'm curious if the Ironclad gets its own layout, its own design for that. But yeah, we'll see. And what I'm going to do here, because there are quite a lot of polygons around that whole thing, I usually just don't care, because polygons are not as big as a problem as they were back in the day. But still, if I want to put this in Unity for your scene, this might get a bit too much. I don't know how's the limit there, and I don't want to find out by this not working. So what I'm going to do here is I want to bevel these edges and make them prettier. But I'm just going to use vertex groups for that. Won't work because these are connected to each other. And then I'm going to differ. I'm going to again limit this by the vertex group. Segment is enough. Give gives us nice bevel there and there. And then we're going to do the same for the other vertex group. These are a touch too big. And that gives us nice beveled edges here. Nice smooth edges, but I can always just disable them for the export. Check that out again. Okay, if that looks exactly like before to you, and you were always wondering why I only have one video every 2 months, then this is why. But I think this is a great improvement. And the point is that I don't have 1 or 2 of these doors, but 50 in the Ironclad, and so they need to look pretty. And I like this one. Okay, so in the end panel under tools, there's an option to only affect origin, which lets you move it directly. That's helpful. Let me check that. In the end panel under tools, affect only origins. Oh, and then I could just... Ooh, that's cool. Because that way I could then just snap it to like this. Okay, that actually helps a lot. And now I just need a shortcut for that. No, but actually that's a lot better than what I did before. Thanks a lot. That's a good time saver for me. Ah, there's one more thing I just wanted to do. Oh yeah, actually before we end this, let's add the functionality to the setup to actually open the doors. Because that is something that I would have to do quite a lot. Actually, we could do it automatically. That would be cool. We could try to make it so that these always move when my camera gets close. Control period. Oh, that's so good. How do I? This is something that could be cool, but it could also take way too much time. No, we're going to do that now. I want to do it. I don't know how to do it. Let's see. This actually. So, I would need Can I get an object info of a camera? Yes, I can, and there only is one. Can I use the location of the camera to change the position of my door? That was easy. Can I? There's a distance node. Merge by, no, not merge by distance. Calculate distance. The distance. Node. Oh, there's a distance node. Oh, that's in Blender 4.5 and I'm on 4.2. That's annoying. That would be helpful. I'm just trying to calculate the two positions against each other, measure the distance myself, And if the distance is smaller than a meter... smaller than a meter, then it's supposed to translate the store by whatever. Only an excess. So, does that work? And what is it? Which position does it take now? That should be the origin. Oh yeah. So, unfortunately that is the origin of the scene, but... So if I get close enough, the door just goes to a different state, which is not animated, but it's something. But I would like to use the world space position and not this. Oh. I can't do that today. That's way too late for something like that. I'm sorry. I'll do that next time. No. I have an Ironclad to finish. I don't need doors that open automatically. You. First of all, thank you for 20 of you sticking around this long, because I know that this is quite stream. But also feel free to always remind me that I can always add details later, but I need to finish the basics to get the Ironclad video out in time. That's more important now. And here's your last look at the current state of my Drake corridor system. I think that is quite a lot. Oh, also, and I did some of these things are the level of the CIG models, and some are more detailed, like these floor panels. They are just textures on the caterpillar, but I decided to just model it because I might want to use this in cinematics later, where I need some more geometric detail, or I can live with some more, with some higher render times, and I would like the enhanced detail. Oh, I like this. I hope that makes you as happy as it makes me. And I also hope that I will get a short Ironclad teaser out next week, because then I'm going on vacation and then I'm coming basically back for CitizenCon. And I want that to come out on CitizenCon, because that's when people are hyped, and I like to contribute to that. And then we'll finish that thing before not before, but for IAE. Did I miss any nice messages? If you're watching, thank you very much. Details are all the fun, I agree. That's why we do this. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. See you in the verse. Have fun with the new patch, and always remind me that I need to finish the broad things before I add more details and more details and more details. Thank you. Good night.